Can we just let Chloe Bailey just live? Sis got curves out the frame. Why are we policing black women's bodies? Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another King of Reese video. Girl, we got a couple of things to talk about. Also have really irritated me with this whole Chloe Bailey situation. Just like, I can't wait to dive into that. We got other like Tiny and T.I. updates and things and responses. For those who have subscribed to me on Patreon, y'all saw I ate Miss Shekinah up. Girl, I might as well had the black V-neck on, but I had on the Bill Cosby sweater, no pun intended. But girl, like I ate Shekinah up. Like I was so pissed off. That's one of the things I appreciate about Patreon is that I can do that type of content without holding it back. And the girls was, baby, y'all was subscribing yesterday and y'all supported. So I definitely appreciate that. Go and get it in early so you won't, you can have access to all the content at the beginning of the month instead of waiting to the end of the month. So go ahead, if you're not a Patreon, become a Patreon. First of all, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Girl, we got a couple things to talk about. We got to also talk about this and then the manipulation with these $2,000 checks, these $1,400 checks to possibly $1,000 checks. I got questions because y'all told me, y'all goofed us and told us if we get y'all these 2 Georgia senators, if we turn Georgia completely blue, that y'all gonna give us $2,000 checks. Y'all said $2,000 checks. So I don't know what Joe Biden and his teeth talking about some 14 on top of the $600 checks and Bernie Sanders. I'm about to take the mitts off and smack you because you said $2,000 check for my people. For my people. Also, since we talking about Georgia, gotta talk about LeBron James and this courtside Karen. White women just showing out. City Girls doing another super spreader event. And then a white woman was pressed about that. Said she'd been waiting 6-7 hours to see them perform, and they lip sync for their life. Now sashay away, because that's what the City Girls said after showing up the last 15-20 minutes. Girl, we gotta get into all of these things, girl. But before we do any of that, y'all know we gotta get into this mental health check-in. So let's get it. Let's go. Mental health is doing great. I'm living better. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm waking up every morning kind of like dry mouth. It's kind of a new thing. I wonder, do I need to give me a humidifier? I wonder is because the elevation is different or something. Like I don't know. It's very weird. But I was not having dry mouth before I moved, so I wondered maybe because it was more humid where I was at. Maybe it's just more dry in here. So maybe I need to give me a humidifier because I'm waking up. I'm like, girl, what's going on? I should not be like this, honey. But do keep in mind, I am on medication. I'm on HIV medication, so that probably has something to do with it. Because taking medication and stuff does cause dry mouth and stuff. But I'm gonna check that out. I'm pretty sure y'all, the holistic health folks, gonna pop up and be telling me all types of things. But girl, yes, I'm gonna probably get me a humidifier. I probably think that's what it is. I need a humidifier. So yeah, like as far as my mental health, I'm feeling really good, 100%. I'm working on some stuff. I'm working on an interview with Dr. David, who was on a review I did of Pose, and we were going to be talking about COVID-19 and the vaccines. And all that. He has received the, I'm not sure what vaccine he's gotten, but we're gonna be, I'm doing a Q&A with him on Patreon. I cannot wait for that. I might release, depending on how long our video is, I might release some of it to YouTube, all that, because when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm kind of just trying to find the content that I want to go on Patreon and the content that I want to remain on YouTube. So I think Patreon is really where it's at. We have some good tiers. I'm really encouraging folks to subscribe and all of that. Honestly, people on Patreon who are supporting are also supporting the King of Reach channel on YouTube because, we're trying to get away from relying on advertisers. That's my ultimate goal, is to stop relying on advertisement so I can be more vocal on the things I want to, because I'm going to be honest, it is very difficult to have conversations about race and all these other things while also trying to make sure you're not doing too much where YouTube is like, oh girl, and advertisers. I just don't want to I don't want to deal with anything with Miss Ad. I'm tired. YouTube has took me through it for years with that, and I just don't want to be beholden to advertisers. So we're doing some really good things over there at Patreon. So shout out all the people who have subscribed. Thank y'all so much. I think we popped up 100 and something over just a day, so y'all are really showing out, and I definitely appreciate that. So girl, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get to the tea for today. So the tea for today is leave black women alone, girl. Leave them alone. I just want to hop right into it because I feel like we just cannot let Chloe just live. So if you don't know, Chloe and Halle had one Twitter account. I think they also had one Instagram account. So now they have made 2 separate accounts. They are making, like, they're kind of getting more independent. They're kind of growing into themselves. You can see it. It is a beautiful thing. Halle is over there doing her thing with The Little Mermaid with Disney, and Chloe is over here just giving body. She's been doing a couple of challenges, a couple of videos, just enjoying herself and just living her life. And she's started to experience the heavy policing of bodies, like, that happens with black women. Like, they can't escape it. And I thought about it. Somebody brought up a good point and said, what's the difference between Mulatto and Chloe? Because both of them are around the same age, so why is there so much heavy, things on Chloe versus Mulatto? I feel like that, they automatically put both of them in the box. Like, they're not allowed to do, like, black women get put inside this box where you can either be all out or you can't, you don't own your own sexuality. Like, you have to always be on it or just be, a little bit, like, it's really confusing. I also think it's a little bit, like, it's their Christian stuff. It's their Christianity, white supremacy stuff, where it's just like, oh, y'all supposed to be subtle Christian girls and da-da-da-da. And we go through this every time with, like, female celebrities, especially black female celebrities, when they come into their own and they start growing. It's just like, we want to, like, no, like, let this girl live her life. If she ain't posting nothing but videos of her dancing, and it's not like, she just has body, that's it. But it just constantly reminds us of the policing of black women's body. Like, when you think about, I think about my mother. I think about her telling me when she was younger that her parents thought that she was sexually active because she had big breasts. And it's just like these misconceptions and stuff we throw on black women. It's just like, what are you doing? Too much. Like, tone it down. Like, and it's just like, girl, I'm just dancing. Versus black girls can't wear short shorts. Versus white women wear short shorts. Like, it's just like, oh, girl, you got too much thigh, you got too much ass. Like, no, like, it's just, can I just live? And I see that with Chloe, like, she can't be fun and just doing what she wants to do because it's like, oh my gosh, like, put that away, it's too much. Reminds me of the church scene, where the church culture, where, women had to wear girdles and stuff in the church, and they couldn't have this and that. It's just like, oh my God, like, and you even think about, back in the day, let's get to the real conversation, where, the older folks in the family would tell you, like, cover up, Uncle Roy coming over, you can't wear this, you gotta tell him, like, put on a shirt, you gotta cover these things up. It's just like, you got to police my body instead of policing the person who needs to, because it doesn't matter if I cover up and cover my curves or everything to not appear sexual. This person can still prey on me. They can still sexually abuse me. All of these things. So it's just like, girl, you're doing it backwards. Like, you policing me. You're policing women, girls, black girls in general versus policing the public. Like, the folks who need to be like, girl, what is you doing? Why is you looking at this girl? So it reminds me of a long history of, steady policing black women and their bodies. And I think Chloe is definitely experiencing that. When I saw it, I was in love. Like, I ain't gonna lie, when I saw the video, I was like, ooh, girl, like, I was just, when she did the busted challenge, baby, period, like, baby, I loved it. I was like, Chloe, yes. And you can just tell she knows how to move. She's talented, all of those things. So yeah, like, let's talk about that, because I really saw that. I was like, girl, this ain't it, honey. This ain't the tea. But moving on, let's give us a little T.I. and Tiny update. Like I told you, I went in on Shekinah in a Patreon video. Child, click the link below to subscribe, watch it. I ate her ass up, I might say. Girl, I was pissed. But T.I. and Tiny have, kind of coming out and kind of responding to a little bit. There have been some, like, defamation, some lawsuits and stuff posted. It's just like, girl, they trying to silence Miss Sabrina, girl. They just like, girl, no ma'am. Sabrina posted those screenshots of these alleged victims that were saying and talking about their experiences with T.I. and Tiny. Like, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with celebrities and all these folks doing what they want to do in these relationships. Like, hey girl, you paying say a sex worker to come and get their life and doing whatever. All of that's nothing wrong. Whatever Tiny and T.I. do in their marriage or whatever, that's for them. They don't have to be just only with each other. They can explore. That's their marriage. The only issue I have is that when you out here forcing yourself and your stuff on people, like you soliciting folks for said sex, and then you're offering, like, drugs were never mentioned, then you kind of force them. That's the allegation that I'm concerned about, because it's just like, these people didn't consent to that. And I can see, that being pushed once to get there, like, oh girl, well, do you want to? Because this is a constant thing that sex workers experience. I've heard too many stories of these similar things. So I do believe these victims. I believe these victims. Say what you want to say, but I'm always going to be entitled to believe victims 100%. And I believe in believing victims. We're gonna get down to the truth. So I'm just not gonna disqualify. And it, like I said, it didn't happen. There's too many people coming out, and it's just like T.I. don't care about his wife. He already disrespected his daughters. His daughter, we've seen that. So it's just like, why would he have some respect for his for some random sex worker? Like, girl, come on now. Like, let's think about it. Let's put our thinking caps on and think. Like, what sense would that make? Like, we've seen what he did to Deja. We've seen that experience. We've heard about that. We've seen how he's treated Tiny. What makes you think that a random sex worker that he met or a person that he's just gonna respect? Like, girl, come on now. Let's not play dumb. Let's not play dumb. So I appreciate that from the call out. It was quite interesting. I will be following the story as it go on, but girl, Sabrina is not here for the mess. And Tiny, honestly, girl, I would just get out of that marriage if I was just you, honest, because this man, he ain't caused you nothing but hurt and pain. And I honestly believe I really believe that honestly, he has a lot to do with how you view yourself, how beautiful you see yourself. And I really hate that for her. I really do. But Tiny, like, sis, you cannot be complicit in what this man is doing. And if this is true, if he's doing things like that are forcing stuff on folks, like if these allegations are true, that's not right. And I'm inclined to believe it because I just don't feel like folks are lying like that. I just really don't. And these celebrities, like, let me tell you something. In Atlanta is very big but very small. I have so many connections to celebrities in Atlanta. Like, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Like, that's how close it is. So, girl, word gets out, stuff gets out. Like, I done had a couple of people actually DM me to confirm some of these things. Like, they've reached out to me and said, yeah, girl, this stuff is true. So, like, anybody that's friends with T.I. and Tiny, like, really close to them, I seriously doubt that you did not know about it. Like, I just can't imagine people being that close to people and not knowing, not hearing no rumors. It's the same. We've already been through this playbook before with R. Kelly. Like, none of these folks knew what was going on. Y'all just didn't say anything. Y'all said nothing. So it's just like, girl, a mess. Really, really unfortunate. Tired of talking about that. Let's move on to something else. Let's talk about these $1,400 checks, because I done got really irritated about this. And I've been watching the kind of like the PR spin of it, because when back in December, when these Democrats were trying their best to get Ossoff and I cannot think of his name, child, because Warnock elected. You heard nothing but $2,000 checks from both candidates. You even heard it from Joe Biden. $2,000 checks. That's all we heard about. $2,000 checks in hand. Now she done went from $2,000 checks to $1,400 on top of the $600. Girl, no ma'am. Them $600 came from Trump's administration under Trump, like the Republican-led Congress, or the Republican-led Senate. All of it, like this don't count. No ma'am. So I need the $2,000 that y'all were talking about after the 20th. Them the $200. So if you got to give me $600 in February the 1st for Black History Month, hello, and give me another $1,400 in this month, we want these $2,000, because y'all honestly owe us about $18,000 to $36,000. Honestly, y'all should have been paying each and every American under a certain amount, $2,000 to $3,000 to sit there at home. You should have been paying folks to stay at home. Honestly, if the federal government had stepped in and said, girl, we're going to sit y'all down for 3-4 months, only essential workers going to work, we're going to pay y'all $2,000 to $3,000 a month, sit y'all butts at home. But and it would have honestly saved the federal government money in the end, because it's just like, we would have rebounded and came back. But at the end of the day, the federal government is not here for people like you and me. It is literally being ran by folks who are making millions and billions of dollars. The reason why they did not want to do a complete shutdown is because these companies need to make money. They need us to travel. They need us to be able to spend money going out to eat. They need us to be able to, they want us to spend money to pull profits for all these multi-billion-dollar companies, while you got Uber out here buying another company that delivers wine or alcohol or something. Like, these companies have made massive profits to the point that they're out here able to take money they've made and buy other companies. Like, pay attention. And while we out here talking about this, Amazon It's in the news, girl. Their stocks have went down. They got two situations going on. Amazon ordered to pay $61.7 million fine for withholding drivers' tips. Now, look, this is coming from the Independent. And honestly, when you look this up, there's not many stories coming up about it. There's not many stories about it, and that should be very telling. Amazon would pay more than $61.7 million to settle charges brought against by the Federal Trade Commission, alleging they failed to pay Amazon Flex drivers the full tip amounts they were given by customers of the company. Let me repeat that. Amazon will pay $61.7 million to settle charges brought against it by the Federal Trade Commission, alleging it failed to pay Amazon Flex drivers the full tip amount they were given by customers of the company. So, what that means, because I use Amazon to get groceries delivered and everything else, and I always make sure I tip at least 15 to 20%, especially in the pandemic, because I'm just I appreciate y'all. I'm going to pay y'all fair wage because I know Amazon is probably messing y'all up. So me being a person that can stay at home and has a little extra coin, I'm going to pay my fair share to make sure that you be able to get you. And just to hear that Amazon ain't even giving these folks their money, they full tips. So when we talk about how people become millionaires and billionaires, this is how. This is how that happens. By exploiting labor and by stealing. This is theft. This is theft. This is what people like me and you will get fired for if our registers are not right at the end of the day. When we cash in our stuff and we off more than $2, it's a write-up. And 3 or 2 in most situations, you're getting fired. Even when I was a server, you couldn't have that many walkouts because they would write you up or potentially fire you. This company has stole $61.7 million from working class people who are working at Amazon, who are getting paid from people like us. Think about that. So this is why millionaires and billionaires guillotine, period. This is why we're saying it, because there's no way for you to amass this much wealth without stealing from people like us. There's no way. And you're either going to take it away from labor, or you're going to steal it. There's just so many ways. You're going to exploit my labor. You're not going to pay me a fair wage to be able to do it. And then you're going to take that money that you'd have made off of me doing this labor. You're going to take that and make profit off of it and do other things. Girl, it is a mess. It is a mess. I can't. The company claimed drivers would receive 100% of the tips you earn while delivering the Amazon Flex, but later changed the way it paid drivers without alerting them and pocket their wages. So you changed the rules and didn't even tell these folks and pocket their money. Y'all ain't got enough money? What the hell? So ain't no telling how long this was going on. And just to think about, if this was it's what about the other stuff? Because for people who are not familiar with Amazon Flex is a service that hires delivery drivers as independent contracts who use their own vehicles to deliver packages. So think about that. I really feel like I need to sit down and do a whole reel. This video can be kind of long, but we're going to be talking about capitalism. We're going to get into some things, girl. So, Amazon already is hiring these folks as contracts, which means that they don't have to give them benefits and give them offer them health insurance, all these other stuff. A lot of and folks they really trick us, make it seem we're independent, we can set our own terms and this and that, but it's really just Amazon really profiting off of not offering us anything. Not offering, girl, you pawn the hell out of your car, work the hell out of your car, you deal with all that situation, and we're gonna pay you, and then we're gonna steal some of the money too from the tips. It's just what? In 2016, Amazon dropped the rates it was paying drivers, which it promised would be $18 to $25 per hour, and allow customer tips to make up the difference. The drivers should have received their full promised wages as well as the tips. Drivers sent hundreds of complaints to Amazon after they realized their earnings had decreased. In response, Amazon sent form letters promising drivers they will continue to receive 100% of their tips. Girl, this is a mess. This is a mess. It's just... And right now, as of now, Jeff Bezos has stepped down as the CEO of Amazon. I think he is now a chairman on the board. And that just tells me that there's about to be some type of scandal. There's something's going on that we don't know about right now. I'm not sure if it's because of that, but there is something going on right now. And it's just constantly, like, this is why it's so important for me to keep saying and have a conversation about this, because I want folks to really understand capitalism. I want folks to really understand how these billion-dollar businesses are out here exploiting us and messing us over. Like, I really want folks to really understand that. So this is why we say billionaires should not exist. This is why we say millionaires should not exist. This is why we sit here saying and having critiques about these specific administrations who are allowing things like this to happen and not fixing it. This is why people are just not complaining out of nowhere. We know it's messed up. We know it's messed up because we understand how capitalism works. So it's just like, you don't necessarily have to understand capitalism because I don't. Child, I'm still learning about what's his name, Mr. Marxism. But like the stuff I'm hearing, I'm just like, girl, that does make sense. It makes sense. So when you hear stuff like, oh my gosh, like, folks are not complaining because they want to complain. They're complaining because the system has been working against them from the beginning, and now they just like, all y'all told me this, and it was a lie. That's how I feel. Like, y'all told me, get a job, work a job, they're gonna pay you, go to school, doing this. I'm like, girl, these folks that went to school, $100,000 in debt, and the Biden administration told us, oh girl, we gonna eliminate debt up to $10,000. What the hell is that gonna do for folks who owe $67,000? What the hell is that gonna do? So moving on, girl, I want to talk about there's a couple things I want to get into, child. I want to talk about this AOC Instagram live that she did the other day, where she talked about her experience on January 6th, and she also revealed that she is a victim of sexual assault. And she talked about these people were looking for her. Like, they were looking for her. She had an incident where she was hiding during January 6th, and she was, hiding in the bathroom, and these people were looking for her. They were looking for her, and she felt like her life was flashing before her eyes. She felt like they was gonna come in here and kill her. And say what you want to say about AOC, and folks, have the critiques about her being a kind of a political like social influencer or something. But I feel like that she does care. I feel like that she truly cares. But also AOC, I think that what folks are like trying to tell you and express is that the very system that you're trying to fix and trying to kind of like, get together or do whatever and fix and do whatever. Like, I don't know whatever words you use for this, but you can't. You literally can't. You can't fix this system from inside. So although I appreciate all the things that AOC has brought up, I appreciate the conversations, I appreciate her work, but I'm just letting her know that she's climbing an uphill battle that she will never win. She will never win. And she sees like I hate that happened for her. I feel terrible that happened for her. But this stuff is so rooted. We can't reform this. We can't reform this, y'all. We can't. We can't reform. We can't fix this. Like, and I hate to kind of be that person, but we can't fix this. That's how bad it is. Even when we like try, it's just like, look what's happening. I'm not telling folks to give up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not telling folks to give up. What I am saying and expressing is this: how serious this is, and I want you to pay attention. So we got to find other ways than just voting, than just holding our Congress folks accountable. Like, there has to be some other stuff that we have to do. Like, we have to mobilize. We have to protect our community, because this system is not going to end itself from us voting folks like AOC in. It's just not. It's just not. So I want to be very clear about that. Like, I appreciate the work, but it's just like, girl, this stuff is so mud that it's impossible. This system was never intended for us. Never. And also, I was reading and I was seeing the conversation about, a lot of the people who were in DC for these riots and these insurrections that occurred January 6th were military veterans. And I was like, that doesn't surprise me. I was in the Army for 7+ years, 8 years. And I was literally going to training where white folks were pulling up in Confederate flags on their trucks, all types of stuff. So it's just like, none of this stuff surprised me. A lot of that's what folks be saying. Just like the police, the military, all of it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, girl, they upholding white supremacy. And a lot of folks who believe in that stuff, they work in these they work in these specific in these institutions to uphold white supremacy. They know what they're doing. This stuff been going on for years. So didn't surprise me at all about the military veterans. Majority of the folks who were, like, a lot of people who were there were who had some military service, were active duty, or reserve, or well, there was a lot of reservist folks, and then a lot of them were veterans. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Girl, this is the end of this video, honey. I did a whole COVID rant dragging the city girls and just COVID-19. Please check it out. That's like, I don't want to call it part 2. It's going to be called COVID-19 rant, because I went in, girl. I was like, I got to separate this video. But thank y'all so much for watching this King Reads video. Make sure you support me on Patreon. And until next time, I'll talk to you later on tonight. Bye.